Woo! What's going on, guys? Orms Forum coming at you guys today. And today's video is the Week 4 preview with the Detroit Lions at the Chicago Bears. The 0-3 Lions versus the 1-2 Chicago Bears. Sorry about the lack of videos, guys, over the past week or so. I'm back to work and things are just getting a little trying to get things situated over here. Videos will be coming soon more. I'll be doing more than 2 or 3 videos a week. It will come. It's just I just gotta have to get myself situated. But let's do this right away, guys. This is the preview of the game, 1 o'clock game on Sunday. The preview. We'll start off with the injury report. Detroit Lions, because they're the away team. We go with the away team first always. Outside linebacker Trey Flowers, shoulder and knee, no practice. He is out. Second week in a row for Trey. D lineman Michael Brockers, shoulder, limited practice. He's questionable, should be good to go. Outside linebacker Romeo Okwara has a shoulder, limited practice, questionable as well. And running back DeAndre Swift with the groin, limited practice, questionable. You're going to see this all year with DeAndre Swift being, a little bit being treated with kid gloves during the week. There's really no need to get him out there going full practice every single time right now at this stage. They need to keep him healthy and going, and he's having a really nice start to the year through the air, getting some touchdowns. Just he's having a nice little second year there, so he'll be playing. I think everybody will be playing here except Trey Flowers, obviously. Now on to the Chicago Bears. They got linebacker, and this is a tough name, Joel Iyiegbuniwe. Has a hamstring, no practice. He is out. Safety, Tayshawn Gibson has a hamstring, no practice. He's doubtful. Linebacker, Khalil Mack with the foot, limited practice, questionable. Quarterback, Andy Dalton has a knee thing going on as well, limited practice, questionable. Wide receiver, Darnell Mooney has a groin, limited practice, questionable as well. DB, Xavier Crawford with a back, limited practice, questionable. And then they got guys that are off the injury list, but we're still on there. Tight end, Jimmy Graham, just getting some vet rest. He was a full practice. He's good to go. Tight end, Jesse James, had a personal thing going on. Full practice, good to go. D lineman, Eddie Goldman with a knee, full practice, good to go. And quarterback, Justin Fields, has a thumb injury going on. The rookie out of Ohio State had a full practice. He's good to go as well, too. Now, you guys know how I do this. I do the positions by positions, and this is how we do it. Quarterbacks, we got Jared Goff, David Blau. They have Andy Dalton, Nick Foles, Justin Fields. Now, if I'm going to give a check mark to anybody here, I'm giving it to the Detroit Lions here. I think Jared Goff is really better than anybody on that Chicago Bears squad as of right now. Andy Dalton, I'd put Jared Goff above him. I'd put Jared Goff above Nick Foles. Now, Justin Fields could be good to great in the near future, but right now he's struggling. Now, that's a Matt Nagy thing, the Chicago Bears head coach. It's an offensive thing. It's an O-line thing. There's all kinds of fingers being pointed right now at who's to blame for Justin Fields' failures right now. But he's a future guy down the road. Now, don't really know who's even playing here this week for the Chicago Bears. I don't know if it's Dalton. Dalton's banged up, but it looks like he's going to be playing. Foles is probably not playing at all, and I don't think Justin Fields is going, but I don't really know. But I'm giving the check mark to the Detroit Lions here. Jared Goff is having a better year. He's not having a great year, but he's having the better year. And David Blau, I take David Blau over Nick Foles anyway. So I don't know about you guys. Even though Nick Foles did win a Super Bowl, just had a really nice run. Hasn't really done anything since. Now on to the running backs, DeAndre Swift, Jamal Williams, Jason Kabinda, the fullback for us, and then Godwin Igwebuike, more of a special teams guy. That's on our side. And they got David Montgomery, Damian Williams, and Khalil Herbert. Now, David Montgomery is a really good running back, okay? He's a really good running back for the Chicago Bears. Had a really nice, I believe, week 1 for them. Has kind of gone stale since then, hasn't really done much. Can kind of do it all, though. He can catch. He's a really good runner inside between the tackles. He's a one-cut guy. He's got some power to him, too, as well. But I'm going to give the check mark to anybody here. I'm giving it to the Detroit Lions and DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams. The 1-2 punch is a really, really nice punch. I think it's one of the best 1-2 combinations in the NFL today. And I'm just going to have to give the check mark to the Detroit Lions here in this situation. On to the wide receivers, we got Quintez Cephas, Khalif Raymond, Amon-Ra St. Brown, the rookie out of USC, Trinity Benson, and Kadero Hodge. Now, I don't know if we're going to have anybody. It looks like it's just going to be those five. I don't think Tom Kennedy will dress, Drama Allison. Don't see those guys really dressing right now, so I'm assuming those are going to be the five. Against those guys, against their guys, Allen Robinson, who I believe is a top 5, top 10 wide receiver in the NFL today. It's just that his situation over there is bad. His quarterback situation is bad. The O-line, the offense, everything is really bad. But he is a great wide receiver. He really is. Now on to they got Darnell Mooney, a little smaller, shifty, really nice route running, quick wide receiver, second-year guy, I believe. Marquise Goodwin, Demir Beard, guy that came over, I think, from the Kansas City Chiefs, and then Simba Webster, and then does Brashad Perryman get the call back up here? He's been a healthy scratch for the Chicago Bears for 2 weeks. I don't really think he's going to get the call up, but if I'm going to pick any wide receiving core, if I'm going to give the edge here, the check mark, I'm going to have to give it to the Chicago Bears. Allen Robinson is a beast. He's just in a bad situation. He's just in a really bad situation over there. And Darnell Mooney, I think, is a pretty good wide receiver as well. Another guy just in a bad situation. But when healthy, he could be a problem. He's not a top 5 or top 10 wide receiver or anything like that, but he can be a problem. And I'm just going to give the check mark just because of Allen Robinson. So Chicago Bears get the check mark with the wide receiver group. Then on to the tight ends. T.J. Hawkinson for us and Darren Fells. They got Cole Kmet, they got the veteran Jimmy Graham over there, and they got the ex-Lion Jesse James, who's played on Pittsburgh Steelers as well. It's a pretty good unit for the Chicago Bears. I'm not going to knock their unit. It's a pretty solid unit over there. They have some guys that can make some plays. Jimmy Graham, he comes in spurts. He's getting up there in age. Cole Kmet's a nice up and comer tight end, but I have to give the check mark to T.J. Hawkinson and Darren Fells. Hawk didn't really do much last week. He got held in check. Fells made a couple catches for about 2-3 catches for about 35 yards, I believe, 35, 40 yards, if I can remember correctly. And he's a red zone guy. He's almost like an offensive tackle out there, being at like 6'8", 260, 270 pounds. Just a big guy. So I got to give the check mark to the Detroit Lions and the tight end group. Now on to the old lineman, Penei Sewell, our left tackle. Doesn't look like Taylor Decker is coming back just yet. I don't think he's even been practicing. I know Sewell's been kind of going back and forth from left tackle to right tackle again. Expect Sewell to go to right tackle when Taylor Decker comes back, by the way, Lions fans. If you think Sewell's staying at left tackle, you have another thing coming. I don't think it's happening. Hank Fraley kind of said the same thing, the old line coach from Detroit Lions. So expect Sewell to go back to right tackle when Decker's cleared. Well, I think actually he is cleared, but when he's cleared just to play, when he's good to play. And I don't think he's playing this week, not that I know of, but Sewell has been back to right tackle. So I haven't read anything about Decker playing though. And then we got Jonah Jackson at left guard, Frank Ragnow, the center, Halaputi Vaitai, Big V at right guard, and then Matt Nelson, our right tackle. Now, over there in Chicago is an absolute train wreck of an O-line. It's a terrible O-line. One of the worst in the NFL by far. Elijah Wilkinson, their left tackle. Could it be Peters? Could be playing there too. I don't really know. Cody Whitehair, the left guard. Sam Mustipher, the center. James Daniels, the right guard, and then the right tackle, Herman Ifeadi. I'm thinking ex-Seattle Seahawk, I believe. It's an awful O-line. They almost got, Justin Fields killed last week versus the Cleveland Browns. That D-line in Cleveland just ate all week. I guess the protections were bad too, though. And Matt Nagy, we'll talk about Matt Nagy in a little bit. But I'm giving a check mark to the Detroit Lions here. They have a better O-line by far. It's not even close. Then onto the defense, the D linemen, Michael Brockers for the Lions, Charles Harris, Romeo Okwara, Nick Williams, Aleem McNeil, the rookie, Austin Bryant, Levi Onwuzurike, who needs to step up, John Pennicini, and then Julian Okwara. Versus their guys, Robert Quinn, Angelo Blackson, Belial, Nichols, Khalil Mack, Akeem Hicks, really good defensive tackle. Mario Edwards Jr., Kairos Tonga, Marcus Hunt, Jeremiah Ateacho. I don't know if I'm saying that name right either. And then Travis Gibson. This is the bread and butter of the Chicago Bears, their defense. I like our defensive line, I really do, but you can run on them. You can do a lot of things with them. They're starting to play. They played a lot better last week, the Detroit Lions. But if I'm going to give the edge or the check mark to anybody here, it's going to be the Chicago Bears, but it's not by a big margin. Robert Quinn is a beast coming off that edge, though. He can really get to the quarterback. He can really create a lot of pressure and a lot of chaos for quarterbacks. He's going to be a guy that we're really going to have to keep an eye on. I don't even know which side he plays on. I don't know if he plays on the right or left side. I believe he's a right defensive end, outside kind of linebacker. So if he's that, you're going to see him. You're going to see Sewell on him, and Sewell will be in. He'll be in for a good game all game because Quinn brings it. I could be wrong where Quinn plays, but I think he's mainly right defensive end. But I guess we'll see on Sunday. So I'm going to give the check mark to the defensive line of the Chicago Bears just by an edge. I really like the way Charles Harris has been playing so far this year. He's got like 2 or 3 sacks on the year. Romeo finally, I thought had a bust-out game last week, and Nick Williams and Aleem McNeil still need to create a little more pressure in the middle. Austin Bryant got in there too on some plays. Levi has been a disappointment so far as a second-round pick. So far, it's early, but he has been. And Penasini's not really getting a lot of plays. And then Julian, not really seeing a whole bunch from him right now. He's getting some pressure last week. Last week he should have had a sack on that big final drive by Baltimore. It probably would have been game-ending. It was on third down though. It was on third down, but Lamar Jackson ended up running out of bounds. Romeo ended up pushing him out of bounds for the sack, but he went out of bounds. So it was like it stopped the clock. If Julian would have wrapped him up, the clock would have still been running. Who knows? But he needs some. He's a work in progress. Now onto the linebackers, we got Alex Anzalone. Derek Brown's a rookie out of Purdue. Jalen Reeves-Maybin, Anthony Pittman, and then we recently signed Josh Woods, who was on the Bears practice squad. We signed him last week, I believe it was. It could be intel. This is totally maybe an intel move. And when I say intel, I mean information on how their defense runs, on everything. On everything. Teams do this a lot. I don't really know if this kid's going to stick with the Lions practice squad. Or don't be surprised if Josh Woods gets released next week. Just don't be surprised. It just could be an intel move, trying to get information about how the defense is run in Chicago and just other ins and outs of the Chicago Bears. Against their guys, Roquan Smith, who I think is an animal in the middle. I love Roquan Smith. Loved him coming out of college. Alex Ogletree, who I think is another good linebacker. And then Christian Jones, a former Bear, going to Detroit, back to Chicago Bears. If I'm going to give anybody the check mark, it's going to the Chicago Bears here. Roquan Smith is a beast in the middle, and I like Alex Ogletree, a former number 1 pick as well, a first-round pick. He's a really good linebacker. Played for the Rams for years. I don't know if he played for anybody else. Giants, maybe. He might have played for the Giants. And I'm a Giants fan. I think he was in New If I'm correct. Could be wrong though. Pretty sure he was there though. But he's a pretty good linebacker. So check mark on the Chicago Bears. Now to the DBs, last group. We got Will Harris, Tracy Walker, the 2 safeties, AJ Parker, usually our nickel guy, the rookie. Amani Oruwariye forced in that number 1 role. My God, he's got to be on Al Robinson. That's work. Bobby Price, another guy thrust into a role that he has no business being a starter, but he has been good. He's been better than expected. Okay, he hasn't been great, but he's been pretty good. For a guy that's undrafted, he's probably playing better than Oruwariye. He might even be on Al Robinson. Who knows? He might even be on. He's bigger, so who knows? Dean Marlowe, another safety. Jerry Jacobs, another rookie. More special teams. Jerry Jacobs. Corey Ballantyne, more of a special teams guy as well, too, a return guy, and a punt returner, kick returner. C.J. Moore, a safety, a special teams ace, and then I don't know maybe last week it was Daryl Worley, the cornerback, who got called up. Probably gets the call up again this week. Didn't really see him out there against the Baltimore Ravens. Or it could be Parnell Motley. A couple bigger, longer corners. Worley being the big corner. He's a pretty big corner. But I think one of those guys that got called up is probably going to be Worley again. Now, with their guys, they got a pretty good guy in safety, Eddie Jackson. Another good cornerback in Jalen Johnson. Second-year guy, I believe, out of Utah. Cornerback, Kindle Bildor, I think is their number 2. I would guess there is. And then cornerback Duke Shelley. Safety Deion Bush. Safety DeAndre Houston Carson. And then cornerback Marquise Christian. If I'm going to give any type of check mark, any type of advantage here, it's going to go to the Chicago Bears as well. Not by a long shot. I think our secondary is probably our worst unit on the team. Safety Eddie Jackson can be pretty good. Cornerback Jalen Johnson has made some plays for the Chicago Bears in the last couple of years. He is young. So I have to give the check mark to the Chicago Bears. They have some more playmakers over there. Now, on to the game, guys, and then I'll talk about the score prediction. This game is 2 bad teams. NFC North battle, division game. 1-2 Bears, 0-3 Detroit Lions going to Soldier Field. Just two bad teams. But the Chicago Bears are reeling. ESPN, all the talking heads, all the experts are talking about Matt Nagy and how he needs to be fired. Especially after the way the Cleveland Browns manhandled that offense last week. Blanked them out. I think it was 26-0. I don't think Chicago scored a touchdown against the Browns last week. So they manhandled that offense. Now, like I said, the Bears are reeling. Nagy's on the hot seat. People call him Fields a bust. I don't think the kid's a bust. They don't really want the Bears fans don't know what they want. They don't know if they want Nagy fired. I think most of them want Nagy fired, but they don't know who they want at center, under center. Do you want Dalton? Do you want Nick Foles? You'd probably like to see Justin Fields out there, but there's a chance he's going to get killed, even against our defense, which isn't good. Now, we are not the Cleveland Browns. I don't think we're going to sack any of those quarterbacks over there 9 times like the Browns did. I don't think that's going to happen. We did sack Lamar Jackson 4 times, and he's a running quarterback. Now, I could see us doing something similar. 4 or 5 sacks. I could see us getting into whoever quarterback's playing over there's face. Now, the Chicago offense, they don't throw the ball well because the O-line doesn't help. So their wide receivers have big-time trouble getting separation. Huge trouble. They have a couple good tight ends, but I don't really think they know how to use them. Their bread and butter on their offense, I think, is their running game. I think David Montgomery is a really good running back. He's just in a bad situation, too, just like everybody else on that team. Allen Robinson, Darnell Mooney. But I almost feel like this is one of those games where you get set up. It's like we're getting set up again. Remember how the Green Bay Packers were garbage after week 1 and they were playing the Detroit Lions? Aaron Rodgers was done. He was toast. Now it's almost the same kind of feel. Matt Nagy's on the hot seat. Justin Fields is a bust. Andy Dalton's not good. O-line is terrible. It's almost like we're getting set up again. And it's not like we need to be set up because we're not a good football team. But it almost has that feel to it. Like, this is a game we should win, even though we're not a good football team. Now, are the Bears better than us? In some spots. I don't think their offense is any better. I wouldn't say their defense overall is better. I would say that. Now, it's just one of those games where I feel we're going to get set up for the loss, even though I'm probably not going to take the Chicago Bears. But anyways, their bread and butter, the Chicago Bears, is kind of running the football, getting David Montgomery involved. They don't really know how to get their wide receivers involved because their O-line doesn't create enough blocking to create separation for their wide receivers. Allen Robinson is probably beyond frustrated. I can only imagine. He's wanted out for a couple years now. He can't get out. Mooney's banged up, but playing, I think, tomorrow. It's a crazy game in the making. Now, our offense versus their defense. Their defense really, they do really well against against tight ends. They do really well against the run. Very, very good against the run and very good against tight ends. Now it's kind of funny because sometimes in my analysis of these games, I'll look at fantasy football, like for real. And I know fantasy football is not reality. It's not the actual NFL. It's not. Sometimes when I like to do a lot of research, and I find that the Chicago Bears are very good against tight ends. They lock down tight ends. They don't give them a lot of yards. They don't let them score. They don't let them catch a lot of passes. They do well against tight ends. And they shut down the run. They shut down the run. That Chicago defense can shut down a run. And our bread and butter is supposed to be the run. I think our bread and butter is more of the passing game now, the short, intermediate passing game. Even though I really like DeAndre Swift, but he catches the ball like a superstar out there. I think he's a superstar in the making. He's not one right now, but I think he's going to be in the future. But that Chicago D is no joke. What you can do against them, though, and this is true, you can throw to the wide receivers against them. They're not very good locking down those wide receivers. So guys like, we're going to see like a Jalen Johnson on a Quintez Cephas is my opinion. That's who he's going to be on. So guys like Khalif Raymond, Trinity Benson need to get open. They need to feed these guys. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Dan Campbell just came out the other day, 2 days ago, saying that it's time to get Amon-Ra St. Brown involved. They need to start getting him involved. So Anthony Lynn, take note. What you can do against the Bears is you can throw against them using their wide receivers. Now, I'm not saying that TJ Hawkinson can't have a good day, because he can, because I think he's a beast. And I'm not saying Swift can't have a good day or Jamal Williams can't. But what the Bears do well is they lock down tight ends and they lock down the running game. They do that well. So I think they're going to need to throw the ball to the wide receivers to win this football game. We're going to need to see Cephas, Benson, Khalif Raymond all have a day. Like, I'm not talking these guys need to be over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns each. That'd be nice. Trust me, that would be nice. But those guys need to get involved. Yes, you have to run the football game, run the football to win a game. You have to do all that stuff. You have to feed your beasts. You know, they got 2 guys on there that are animals, Hawkinson and Swift. Even Jamal Williams is starting to look really good out there. But to beat the Bears, I honestly think we need to have to throw the football and to the wideouts, because the wideouts so far against the Bears secondary have been eating. They've been doing really well. So I think that's going to be how we win this football game. You still got to control the clock. You still got to do all that stuff. You know, I think we're going to have to stop. Just like last week against the Baltimore Ravens, our defense, they're going to have to stop David Montgomery and Damian Williams. And they're going to have to force whoever quarterback's out there to throw the football. And then when you make them throw the football, you have a greater chance of creating pressure, getting sacks, quarterback hits, all that stuff. So, and then that's how we're going to make plays. Interceptions, sacks, pressures, all that. So that's it. And now my score prediction. I think this is going to be a really low-scoring football game. I am taking the Detroit Lions here. Woo! I'm taking the Lions here. Now, don't make me regret this, Detroit Lions. Don't make me regret this, because this will be, if they do not win this football game, this will be my first and last time picking them. It will be. 100% it will be. I cannot see me picking them again. And like I said in my last video, 0-17 will be on the horizon if they lose this game. They have to win this game. I know we're not making the playoffs. We're nowhere near going to be making the playoffs. But the Chicago Bears team is ripe for the picking right now. And I just think we're a better team, even though we're 0-3 and they got one win. They're 1-2. I just think we're a better football team. 20-17 Detroit Lions. Don't make me regret it, Lions fans. Don't make me regret it, Detroit Lions, actually, not Lions fans. Don't make me regret this, Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions. Please. Because I would love to pick them every week. I would love to. I just think this is the game. It still scares me, though. It still feels almost like a setup because they're just trashing Matt Nagy the whole week. He's getting trashed. Dan Orlovsky, Marcus Spears, Ryan Clark on ESPN, just ripping apart Matt Nagy, saying he needs to be fired. And it's just almost like, so Matt Nagy is game planning this week because he is on the brink of getting fired. And I think if they lose this game, the Bears, Monday, Matt Nagy's gone. That's my opinion. It's already came out. I don't know if I even said it last week. I probably didn't. But Bears lose this game, Nagy's fired, in my opinion. So that's motivation enough not to lose the football game. And that's what kind of scares me with games like this. It always happens to the Lions. We always got to play that setup game. But anyways, that's the video, guys. It's 26 minutes. It's a long one again. Sorry. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button the bottom right. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. Get all my videos. Don't forget to like and comment. We'll talk about it. Let's go, Detroit Lions. Get your first victory. Okay, 2017 Detroit Lions. Let's go. Boom. See you Sunday.